Hey, I'm Steven and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So in today's video, we're doing a deep dive into Lucid Motors, stock ticker CCIV. We'll be looking through a recent investor presentation which includes a bunch of projections for the future, as well as some information about Lucid's strategy of going to market and broadening out their product range over time. The goal of this video is to ask a simple question. Is Lucid Motors doomed, or do they stand a chance? So let's get into the video. And by the way, since I know there's a lot of crypto lovers watching and people who like free stuff, it's your lucky day. For a limited time, you can get up to $250 in free crypto bonuses when funding a new account on BlockFi, where you can use cryptocurrency to earn interest, borrow cash, and buy or sell crypto. If you want your free crypto, use the link in the description. It also helps out the channel. And if you'd like up to 2 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 1 free stock valued up to $250 just for opening an account. And if you fund your account with $100, you'll get a second free stock valued up to $1,600. Unless you don't like free stocks, that is. And if you're in Australia, the UK, or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake, also using the link in the description. Let's get back to it. So let's look through some highlights of Lucid's Analyst Day presentation from May 2021. First slide here, we can see that Lucid are doing their best to convey that they have experience within the automotive industry. A bunch of logos from different companies there. Peter Rawlinson, CEO and CTO, flexing very hard that he previously worked at Tesla. There's a claim in here that is disputed by Elon Musk that Peter was a chief engineer of the Model S. We won't go there. But I got to say that overall, this is a very positive sign for a company that's attempting to compete in the electric vehicle space with a company like Tesla. There's clearly some experience there, which is quite a contrast from a company like Nikola Motor Corporation, whose senior management and C-suite appear, generally speaking, to have practically zero relevant experience for the roles they were placed in. Shout out to Trevor Meltdown Milton, his brother, the bloke that did the golf courses, and a few other folks. Anyway, let's move on. One of the very first things put in the presentation here, total Lucid Air reservations are above 9,000. And I've got to say, this is quite positive. It's not unrealistic, it's not ridiculous. It's certainly a far cry from the likes of the claims made by Fraudstown Motors about having stupid numbers of reservations. So this is a good sign. It's a reasonable number. We can see also that Lucid now employs over 2,000 people, so still a tiny company relative to the likes of Tesla, but this is a good sign as well. They're starting to spool up, they're hiring, things are moving along. This, however, is a little bit troubling and a little bit in dispute. Lucid are claiming that they're on track for second half of 2021 for the start of production for customer deliveries of their first product. Now, this may well happen, but Peter Rawlinson, CEO and CTO, recently appeared on CNBC and was unwilling to commit to an exact number of vehicles produced.
Are you on track for 20,000 vehicles in 2022?
We're very much on track for our plan. We're aiming for over 577 vehicles this year, and a significant increase throughout next year as we grow the business.
Really dodging the question there. Previously, Lucid had talked about delivering, I think, around 20,000 vehicles in 2022, from memory, somewhere around that figure. Now, not so sure. So remember what Elon Musk has said. Prototypes are easy. Production is hard. Very fucking hard. So keep an eye on this. I won't be surprised if we see Lucid run into a lot of problems actually ramping production and getting to a reasonable volume of vehicles off production lines. Now, I wish them all the best, but I have a funny feeling that Lucid isn't going to remain on track for their intended production targets over the next few years, just quietly. Here we read Lucid's mission statement. Tell me if this sounds familiar to you. Lucid's mission is to inspire the adoption of sustainable transport by creating the most captivating luxury electric vehicles centered around the human experience. Wank, wank, wank. So yeah, shout out to Tesla's mission. Just in case anyone's forgotten, let's quote Tesla's mission statement. Tesla's mission is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. Good on Lucid. They're copying, completely plagiarizing Tesla's business model, and I've got to say, this is the way you want to approach building an electric vehicle company. Everything Tesla does, just blatantly copy. All of it, just everything. Copy their entire business model, including their mission. So Lucid here quite shamelessly stealing and borrowing heavily from Tesla's own mission, but this is the right approach in my opinion. It's the only way anyone will have a chance of competing. Once again, Lucid reiterating, Lucid's first product, the Lucid Air, is on track for expected, keyword expected production and deliveries in the second half of 2021. I hope they can pull this off. But now looking at a page of, quote, investment highlights, Lucid is a leader in EV technologies, defines a new generation of EVs, ushering in a new paradigm for the automotive industry. One thing I want to point out here in this presentation, attractive valuation. Attractive entry valuation at less than 2% of Tesla's current value. These kind of comments to me really don't smell good. This is the same kind of shit that Trevor Milton was out there talking about Nikola, comparing the valuation of Tesla, saying people made a load of money if they bought Nikola, blah, 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 blah. It just doesn't smell right, okay? Don't try to coerce people into investing in your company by comparing it to another company and their valuation, okay? Tesla's got the track record, the chops, the experience, like it's not the same thing. Just don't even mention it. There isn't really a whole lot of logic here. Comparing your valuation to another company is not a reason for people to invest in your company. I could make the same comment about Fraudstown Motors or Nikola Motor Corporation. Does that make them a good investment because their valuation is a fraction of Tesla's? In my opinion, hell no. Now, don't be too harsh here, but we can see there's a lot of, hey, look at Tesla. They're trying to grab some of that Tesla clout. Tesla, comparing themselves to Tesla. Now, again, it's a relatively smart strategy, but I just don't like this kind of stuff. When you're trying to appeal to investors, it seems like a little bit of trickery. And speaking of Tesla clout, led by Peter Rawlinson, former Tesla chief engineer of Model S, again, that claim disputed by Elon Musk. And let's run through and count the Tesla logos underneath each of these portraits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, I've got to say, this isn't actually a bad thing. Having some people with experience at Tesla is probably very positive for Lucid. But again, you can really see that they're attempting to say, hey, look at us. We've got some experience. Tesla. Look at us. We're going to be the next Tesla, without actually saying it. And what do you know? The next page, more Tesla clout. And a claim there, Tesla, innovative, but not luxury. Now, I have to say, Lucid has a point here. Their attempted target market here, I've mentioned this in the past. I'm sure some of you will be sick of it by now. But the customer, the buyer that Lucid are initially targeting is really that kind of consumer that's so discerning and cares so much about the detail and luxury and opulence that they insist on having unicorn tears in the wiper fluid and woolly mammoth pubes for the stitching of their seats. This is who Lucid are targeting. It's written all over their brand. And this is good in the sense that they're not competing directly with Tesla, because if they were trying to do that, no fucking chance. I quote, Lucid appeals to people who are no longer willing to compromise for luxury, since they can have performance, technology, and sustainability. And this is actually an interesting graphic over here. Should Lucid become semi-successful, BMW, Mercedes, and Audi are in big trouble. Keep in mind, Tesla is already eating the lunch of these companies, but if Lucid can go for that higher end, super luxury consumer that really cares about the level of wankery that a lot of Tesla buyers don't really care for, they could actually do reasonably well. And if I was BMW, Mercedes, and Audi, I'd be shitting the bed a little bit here, concerned that Tesla's already destroying some of our sales and Lucid might take the rest of them. I'm not a big fan of the way that these numbers are put out here. They've got starting from 77,400, which isn't the actual model. It also has the projected range, keyword there, projected range of greater than 500 miles and 1,080 horsepower. I don't really like companies blending all these stats together. Just tell us the actual stats for the model you're showing on the picture. It's a little bit deceptive and misleading. And that being said, I just want to take a moment to talk about the range here. There's a tiny sliver of buyers out there that really want ridiculous range, like over 500 miles on a vehicle. A lot of people are being confused by the fact that Tesla's Model S is only around 400 or so miles of range. But here's the thing, any idiot can make a 500 mile range electric vehicle, or 600 mile, or 1,000 mile. All you need to do is just put more batteries in the vehicle. Pretty much all that there is to it. Now, it may not be necessarily economical, but if you're willing to produce a vehicle that not that many consumers are going to be interested in by just stuffing more batteries in there and charging a much higher purchase price, then no problem. You can get any range you want, in theory. This isn't in and of itself a huge technological achievement. It could be. If it turns out that the battery pack in the Lucid Air Dream Edition is actually less in total kilowatt hours than, say, the Tesla Model S long range, that would be a massive achievement, but it's yet to be seen. And now for a really innovative, never before seen feature. A glass canopy sweeps over the cabin, creating an even more extravagant sense of space. Wait, where have I seen this before? Oh, that's right, Tesla did this years ago. But again, shamelessly copying Tesla, very smart strategy. Introducing Glass Cockpit. Lucid Air's beautifully integrated, configurable infotainment system is a technical marvel, providing a seamless, connected experience. Obviously, a touch screen that you can fully update instead of a shit ton of buttons everywhere makes a whole lot of sense. Now, I do want to say it seems to me a little bit strange to have your second touchscreen down here. It's kind of like having to take your eyes off the road. Maybe Lucid were a little bit concerned about copying too blatantly from Tesla and having the screen in the most obvious place to put it. Again, keep in mind, if you're driving right, you don't really want to be looking down to touch this screen. Much better to sort of look across and not have to divert your gaze down off the road. But anyway, nitpicking here a little bit. Obviously, anyone designing an electric vehicle in the future who doesn't have a touchscreen interface is an absolute moron, so it's good to see that Lucid are going down the touchscreen path. This page is where Lucid really flex their engineering prowess, at least allegedly. Efficiency is the ultimate measure of EV technology, and Lucid is the clear winner. Lucid now ranking EVs by battery efficiency, how many miles per kilowatt hour of battery pack, and this is actually a very valid metric. Lucid claiming, again, this is based on estimates. In fact, let's read the disclaimer down the bottom. Lucid Air specs dependent on configuration. Data is based on projected EPA estimated range. EPA estimated range for Lucid vehicles are not available, and there's a second part to this. Vehicles are in pre-production and specifications are subject to change, so keep in mind, Tesla has this vehicle on roads. Lucid hasn't even begun producing this vehicle yet, so take it with a grain of salt. That being said, Lucid claiming the Lucid Air achieving over 4.5 miles of range per kilowatt hour of battery pack versus Tesla Model S, which is over 4 miles of range. If Lucid can pull this off, this is a very impressive engineering feat, but please keep in mind, if you're producing a high cost, low volume vehicle, you can use particular materials that may not be economical at scale because again, they're going for the luxury market. They might be able to use lighter materials even though they're astonishingly expensive. So keep this in mind as well. However, if Lucid can pull this off in either case, it's very impressive. I'm sure Sandy Munro can't wait to get his hands on a Lucid Air to pull it apart and see what's really under the hood. This is a very positive sign again if Lucid can pull it off. Lucid are really flexing their 500-mile range hard here, comparing the Lucid Air Dream Edition and the Lucid Air Grand Touring Edition, both claiming over 500 miles of range, comparing to Tesla Model S Long Range, Model S Plaid, and the Porsche Taycan. That's so embarrassing, isn't it? We can also see that the Tesla Plaid Model S, much higher overall top speed, and much lower overall 0 to 60 time. But again, if Lucid can pull this stuff off, pretty impressive engineering overall. Allow me to quote, Lucid Air is expected to be offered at various price points with different specifications. Key wording there, expected. This is important. The terminology could have been will be, but no, expected. So keep that in mind. At this point in time, there's a lot of expectations and hopes rather than promises. And there's nothing wrong with that, but Lucid are being very careful in the wording. They probably don't want lawsuits, SEC investigations and DOJ investigations in the future if, for some unfortunate reason, they're never actually able to deliver on these other editions of their vehicles. Once again, being very careful. Projected range over 500 miles. Projected, projected, projected. Not promised, not guaranteed, projected. In either case, smart strategy. Start with your absolute premium vehicle, maximum specs, maximum purchase price, and then slowly work your way down. This makes sense. This is a smart business plan if they can pull it off. We can see that over time, towards 2030, Lucid is planning to go down and expand into other product categories, more sedans, more SUVs, and other planned vehicles. Totally makes sense. However, I want to read something. Lucid plans to start with high-end cars, build the brand synonymous with luxury, and then manufacture progressively more affordable vehicles at higher volumes. Now, this makes sense from a business point of view. Lucid is touting their luxury brand for the discerning customer, blah, 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 but ultimately planning to get to mass market vehicles. And the only way they're going to do that is to drive costs down, remove features, etc., just like Tesla has done. The only difference I see here is Lucid is planning to start at an even higher, more luxurious starting point and then work their way down to the same place as Tesla over time. And again, this is a smart business strategy. But for Lucid to work down to progressively more affordable vehicles in higher volumes will mean that they will no longer be producing luxury vehicles. Now, we see a super original idea here from Lucid. Future growth opportunities extend beyond Lucid vehicles. Energy storage systems. Amazing idea. Where have I heard? Oh, that's right, Tesla. Again, congratulations to Lucid for blatantly ripping off Tesla's business model. I want to say once again, this is a smart strategy. Every EV maker should be copying this exact model. Also have your home battery storage, okay? Everyone should be doing this, and it's good to see that Lucid is shamelessly plagiarizing from Tesla once again. This is the only way they have a chance of surviving, so well done, guys. One key point here, positioned to address the home, commercial, and utility scale energy storage markets. I swear I've heard those exact words from Tesla. Anyway, another opportunity, which Tesla haven't officially announced that they will do, but have said they're open to doing, becoming a technology supplier. I quote, in-house technology designed for mass production at Lucid's purpose-built manufacturing facility positions Lucid well for large-scale supply to other OEMs. Again, smart, very bullish, and a possibility over time if this company can survive. Now onto the technology. Lucid have developed their own battery pack, their own motor and transmission, their own inverter. By the way, shout out to Trevor Meltdown Milton about the inverter thing. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. But for everyone that does, this is quite funny to see. Lucid also offering bi-directional charging, an Electrify America partnership rather than building out their own supercharging network, and claiming to have cutting-edge in-house software. Although that being said, a team of just 2,000 people currently working at the company, pretty light on software developers. So I'm not so sure if this will be cutting edge or decent at best, but time will tell. The point here, Lucid have their own technology. This is again a very bullish signal for the company. The worst thing you want to see from an EV startup is the likes of Nikola just cobbling together other people's technology, or worse, claiming it to be your own. Having this vertical integration is very important for keeping costs down and maintaining a strong position or a leadership position in terms of technology. Another quote here, Lucid's battery technology has been refined over 10 years and is powering every current car in the world's premier EV racing series. Again, this is good. Lucid actually has some experience. They've got some data with thermally managing batteries. This is very positive and very bullish compared to most of the other EV startups and SPACs out there that have nothing but a whole lot of talk and zero experience. Lucid has developed an incredibly power-dense drive unit. Comprising integrated motor, transmission and inverter, Lucid's drive unit is designed to increase efficiency and power output while reducing size and weight. Attributes that enhance range and enable the space concept, aka having a shitload of space inside the cabin. Lucid Air claiming about 9 horsepower per kilogram of weight, comparing to an unnamed American EV brand at 3.2 horsepower per kilogram. However, this presentation occurred before Tesla's Plaid Model S event.
I mean, this is really an amazing work of engineering. There's just never been an electric motor like this. I mean, you can pick this motor up with your hands, and it can accelerate a 2-ton car to 60 miles an hour in 2 seconds. I mean, that kind of power to weight is insane.
Let's do a quick bit of math. Lucid are claiming to have a 1,080 horsepower vehicle. 9 horsepower per kilogram suggests a 120 kilogram motor. And we recently heard from Elon Musk at the Tesla Plaid Model S delivery event that you can pick up the Tesla Plaid Model S motor with your hands. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I have a funny feeling that most of you watching probably would struggle to pick up 120 kilograms. I don't know, I don't have evidence here. Tesla hasn't announced the weight of this, at least as far as I'm aware. But I have a funny feeling that Tesla has actually outdone Lucid enormously with the Plaid Model S, suggesting more horsepower per kilogram. Now, I could be wrong here, but if I am, Elon Musk has a very strange sense of how strong the average person is. And of course, Lucid boasting about the number of sensors on their vehicle, with 32 sensors on board, which again could actually be a contrary indicator. The more sensors you need, the less capable your software is, just saying. But anyway, let's continue. The Lucid Air is, quote, expected to launch with the most comprehensive sensor suite among currently available production vehicles. And again, I want to reiterate, this isn't actually a bullish signal. It's quite bearish. The more sensors you need to deliver the same experience, the less capable your software is. As I've said previously, the more sensors that Tesla is deleting from their vehicles, the more confidence they have in their fully autonomous software. The same can be said for other companies. More sensors means, hey guys, we don't really have a high level of confidence in our ability, so we're just going to have so many sensors on here, we have so much data that will overcome the flaws in our software. I'm not trying to be nitpicky here, but you guys need to understand how important this is. Flexing and boasting about how many sensors you have on your vehicle is a contrary indicator. The less sensors you have, the better. Lucid Air is planned to launch, once again, planned to launch, not will launch, planned to launch with level 2 autonomous driving functionality and be capable of software upgrades over the air. Over the air updates, huh? What an innovative idea. I've never seen anyone do that before. By collecting and analyzing fleet data, Lucid can continuously enhance its autonomous driving features. Again, Lucid just completely blatantly ripping off from Tesla, but again, this is the smart strategy, so I commend them. Shameless and necessary. Just copy everything Tesla's doing. With existing reservations already representing over 800 million in anticipated sales, let me just read the disclaimer here. Customer reservations are fully refundable and may be cancelled without penalty. Customer reservations do not guarantee future sales. Now, I don't want to be too harsh on Lucid here, but again, remember, this is an investor presentation. This is the same kind of shite that Nikola are putting in press releases. Hey, we've got $29 trillion worth of pre-orders from our garbage trucks that are actually just computer rendering right now and don't actually exist. I understand where Lucid is coming from here, but again, it doesn't really smell great. When you're talking about anticipated sales, I'm not really sure it's fair to say that reservations are anticipated sales. Now, certainly, many of them will convert to actual sales, but many likely won't. I'd much rather the company just talk about the number of fully refundable reservations they have and not equate that into X amount of future revenue. Tesla Supercharger Network versus Lucid strategy with Electrify America. Tesla Supercharger Network, highly capital intensive, very, very true, versus the Lucid Electrify America partnership, CapEx light solution. Yep, they don't need to spend much money. Electrify America have already done the heavy lifting. I totally get this. The less Lucid has to spend initially, the better, although from a customer point of view, not necessarily ideal. Tesla supercharger network, maximum 250 kilowatt hours with the latest V3 units. This is also true, but there's a caveat there I'll get to in a moment. Electrify America, maximum 350 kilowatt hours. Keep in mind, Elon Musk at the Tesla Plaid Model S delivery event said that ultimately they're going to get to 300 kilowatt hours, 350 kilowatt hours and above over time. Tesla continues to update and improve their supercharging network as needed. So hopefully Electrify America will do the same. But do they have the incentive to continue to spend the capital to do this when they've already built out their network versus Tesla, who want to maintain a leadership position? Time will tell. But again, this is a good strategy from Lucid. They don't have the cash to build out their own network, so this is a good solution. Now we get into the juicy details, market opportunity and financial outlook. I have a funny feeling I'll be revisiting this part of my video in a few years' time. Luxury vehicle market opportunity. The global luxury car market was estimated to be $495.7 billion in 2018. That's $500 billion for those of you that suck at math. And is projected to reach $733.2 billion by 2026. This is a positive sign. Lucid entering a growth market, even though they also mentioned that over time they plan to get to mass market vehicles. So a little bit of a contradiction there, but I don't want to be too harsh here. Just want to keep in mind, Lucid is saying we're a luxury brand today, but over time, they want to scale to volume and no longer be producing luxury vehicles. This presents an opportunity for a true luxury EV company to address unmet needs and revolutionize this market. And they are right. There's a lot of space here. $500 billion to $750 billion worth of revenue in the luxury vehicle market by 2026. Not a bad opportunity to go after. By 2030, one more time, by 2030, aka almost a decade from now, Lucid anticipates, keyword anticipates, a run rate production of greater than 500,000 units. I just want you guys to take a moment to let this sink in. In 2019, Tesla did 500,000 units. Lucid is aiming to be at the same scale Tesla was in 2019, 11 years later. What do you think Tesla will be doing in 2030? Well, spoiler alert, they've already told us they're aiming for around 20 million units per year, aka Tesla aiming to be at 40 times the scale of Lucid at the end of the decade. Just saying. Lucid Air planned market share after launch, 0.6%, 0.7%, 0.6%, 0.5%, and 0.4%. And again, I commend Lucid. These seem realistic and reasonable. Shout out to the dickheads over at Nikola and Fordstown Motors, just pulling numbers out of their ass. The last thing I want to see here is unrealistic expectations for market share. Now we get to the most juicy part of the entire presentation. Production volume and revenue forecasts. Lucid aiming for 20,000 vehicles delivered in 2022. Although Peter Rawlinson will no longer commit to that figure. 49,000 vehicles in 2023, 90,000 in 2024, 135,000 in 2025, and by 2026, 251,000 vehicles. 5 years' time, 250,000 vehicles. Need I remind you that this year, Tesla will do about 1 million vehicles delivered. Total revenue scaling in line with those figures as well. Ultimately in 2026, around $22.7 billion of forecast revenue. Now remember, reaching volume production, extremely difficult. It's like climbing Mount Everest in your underwear without any food or water. It's possible, in theory, I think, but very, very challenging. So we'll see how things play out. This all looks good on paper, but at the moment, it's just on paper. Significant investment and progress to date leads to near-term profitability. Lucid are expecting a gross profit next year. Impressive. Time will tell if that can actually play out. We'll see. Curiously, by 2024, Lucid expecting EBITDA of $500 million. And 2025 generating free cash flow of over $300 million. In my opinion, this is possible, but extremely, extremely, extremely unlikely. This seems to assume that everything goes right. I have a funny feeling there's going to be a lot of bumps in the road. Again, I wish Lucid all the best. I just want to point out how difficult it's going to be to reach volume production. I think this is the dream scenario. Get it, dream? Because Lucid dream? That was bad. I'll just leave it. Anyway, the point is, I don't think this is going to happen. In theory, it could, but everything needs to go right. And so far, Lucid haven't really proven their ability to get anything right yet. As I said recently, Peter Rawlinson now will no longer even commit to their 2022 target of around 20,000 vehicles. So we'll see how this goes. I don't think it's going to age well, but I wish Lucid all the best. This page looks familiar. Once again, we're seeing the attractive valuation. Attractive entry valuation at less than 2% of Tesla's current value. Just doesn't smell right. And there's more, there's further expansion on this attractive valuation. Significant discount to other entrants. Now these are based on 2022 estimated revenue, so estimated revenue being pulled out of people's butts. This is all la-la, you don't really know what's going on here. Some of these companies may get there, some of them won't, like these are all projections, so things are a little bit murky here. But what Lucid are trying to get at here is, in theory, Lucid is about half as expensive as Tesla is, based on the metrics and the projections that we're using. Now I've got to ask you guys a question. Given the fact that Tesla's actually proven their ability to ramp production and we've got the track record behind them, does Lucid being half the price of Tesla based on this metric actually sound like a pretty good deal to you? Call me skeptical, but I don't actually think this is a bullish sign from Lucid. Maybe if they were a 10th or a 50th of the number, maybe then a little bit more bullish, but they've got a lot to prove. And once more, another comparison to Tesla, Lucid positioned at a fraction of Tesla's valuation multiple. And again, attractive entry value at less than 2% of Tesla's current value. So let me sum this one up for you guys. I really do wish Lucid all the best, and I don't think the company is a fraud. Shout out to Nikola and Lordstown and probably most of the other EV SPACs out there. I think they have good intentions. They certainly have their own technology, and the fact that they're completely plagiarizing Tesla's business model is an extremely bullish sign. That being said, as I've repeated throughout this video, reaching volume production is going to be an astonishingly difficult challenge. Everything looks good on paper, projected revenue, projected deliveries, rah 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 rah, but Lucid have yet to actually do the hard part, execute and reach volume production. It seems like Lucid have some great technology, which is really good, and the fact that they're following Tesla's business model is super smart. But at this stage, I really think it's a coin toss as to whether or not Lucid will even be in business at the end of this decade. And I want to be really, really clear. I do wish them all the best. We need more companies pushing EV technology forward. Need more companies coming after Tesla, trying to take down some of their records, range, 0 to 60 time, blah, 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 blah. I'm sure that's going to motivate Tesla's engineers to do even more and become even more resourceful. But at this point in time, I am a major, major skeptic. Talk's cheap. Action is a little bit more difficult. I'll be paying attention and watching from the sidelines, hoping Lucid can execute. But at best, I'm giving them about a 50% chance. I hope they can prove me wrong. Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think about Lucid? Are they going to survive the decade? Will they become a leader in the EV space? Will they take away market share from BMW, Mercedes and Audi? Do any of you own Lucid stock? And most important of all, do you think they'll come even close to reaching their future production targets? I'm Stephen Mark Ryan, this is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget, if you'd like up to $250 in free crypto bonuses with BlockFi, use the link in the description. You can also get 2 free stocks with WeBull and a free stock with Stake, also linked in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.